phenomena. It is the study of day-to-day life. Good evening everyone watching us. I am Serena. Birla Shishu Vihar has provided us a platform, Science Mania, where our young scientists will exhibit their experiments. Let's dip into the ocean of science.
Good morning everyone. This is Rishi from class 10C and today I'll be demonstrating Faraday's law of induction. So let's get started. In 1831, Michael Faraday in London independently discovered electromagnetic induction, and I'll be demonstrating the experiment similar to one that was done by Michael Faraday. I have an ammeter here and 3 coils. I have a coil with 1 loop, 10 loop and 100 loop. I also have a bar magnet here, and I'll start by connecting single loop coil to ammeter. Now I have single loop coil connected to the ammeter and I'm going to move bar magnet in and out of the coil, and if you watch very closely you can see slight deflection of the needle. So let me connect the 10 loop coil. Again I'm going to do the same thing. Now I have 10 loop coil connected to the ammeter. Now if I repeat the same experiment, you see that there is a much greater deflection in the needle of ammeter, and if I go just slowly we see just a little bit of deflection, and if I go quickly we see much greater deflection. Also, as magnet go in, the deflection is towards right, and when I pull out it shows deflection towards left. And now let me connect the 100 loop coil. In 100 loop coil, even I move slowly, it show a greater deflection, and when moved quickly it show a drastic amount of deflection. So the rate of change of velocity also affects the current.
Hello, I am Adit.
And I am Piyush.
Today we are going to talk about magic powder, that is baking soda. Baking soda is a mild non-corrosive basic salt.
Whose chemical name is sodium bicarbonate.
Piyush, what is the difference between baking soda and baking powder? Because they look very similar.
Baking powder is a mixture of baking soda and a mild acid such as tartaric acid.
Piyush, I wondered that what will happen if we mix baking soda and vinegar?
Let's try it out.
For this, the material required are a plate, vinegar, baking soda, also known as sodium bicarbonate. Let's take a plate, a glass, pour half glass of vinegar. To this, add a spoon of baking soda.
We notice the evolving of CO2, which can be verified by bringing a light matchstick to it. The CO2 evolving gas extinguishes the lighted flame.
In this reaction, when acid reacts with sodium bicarbonate, sodium salt of acids along with carbon dioxide and water is formed, which is an example of neutralization reaction.
Daily uses of sodium bicarbonates are: we can clean the clogged and smelly sink using the baking soda and vinegar. Add a cup of baking soda and let it sit for an hour. Then pour 2 cups of white vinegar and run hot water down the sink. We can also use this for cleaning vegetables. Add 2 spoons of baking soda to the bucket of water and rinse the vegetables with the water.
Children, draw doodle on your precious white wall. You can easily clean them by applying the mixture of baking soda and vinegar and rubbing it with a cloth.
We can also use this for cleaning battery. First pour baking soda on terminals, after that pour water on terminals and rub with cloth.
Hi Divyam.
And I am Chur.
Today we are going to show Archimedes principle through an experiment. Few days back, we both with our younger brother went to swim.
He is 4 years old and learning how to swim.
When I held him in water, I realized that he feels much lighter in water.
So can you guess what is the reason behind this?
Yes, it's Archimedes principle. And the same principle explains why a small coin sinks in water but a massive steel ship can float.
So Archimedes principle is like
When a
this.
body is immersed fully or partially in a fluid, it experiences an upward force that is equal to the weight of the fluid displacement.
Divided the statement of Sir Archimedes in two parts. First part is when a body is immersed fully in water, it experiences an upward force.
And the second part is the upward force is equal to the weight of the water displaced by it.
Now let us understand the first part with a simple experiment.
All we need for this experiment is a plastic beaker with some water, a plastic ball and a spring balance. As you remember the statement, when a body is fully immersed in water, it experiences an upward or buoyant force.
And that's very easy to see.
Because when we leave the ball, it bobs up.
But why?
Because the water is pushing up the ball with a force also known as upthrust.
So after experiment, you may have a question that
How to measure the upward force acting on the ball? Here is the answer.
the difference of weight in air and weight in water will gives us the amount of upward force.
Now let us calculate the amount of force acting on this ball. As you remember the formula, we need the weight of the ball in air and the weight of the ball in water. So first, we will calculate the weight of the ball in air by using this spring balance. It is showing 5 grams. Now let us calculate the weight of the ball in water. It is showing 3 grams.
And by the formula, you can calculate that the force acting on the ball is 2 Newton.
Now, let us understand the second part of the statement. We have calculated the amount of upward force applied on this ball, which is 130 grams. To calculate the second equation, first we need to tilt the large beaker onto the small beaker and put the ball into the beaker. You will see that some water automatically come inside the small beaker. Now we will calculate the amount of the water which is displaced in the small beaker. It is showing 315 grams, which is including the weight of empty jar and including the weight of water. The weight of empty jar is 185 grams. So after this calculation, we will get the weight of the water as 130 grams. Hence, we have verified that amount of upward force is equal to the amount of water displaced by this ball.
The daily life use of Archimedes principle is to measure the volume of irregular object like gold crown.
As well as to explain the behavior of any objects placed in fluid.
Hope you enjoyed and understood the concept of Archimedes principle. Thank you.
Morning, good afternoon, good evening to one and all present here. I'm Nikki from Birla Shishu Vihar Pilani. Today we are going to perform an activity before you all. The topic is to study to demonstrate the process of osmosis in a potato.
Yeah, this is Anushka Sharma and today I am going to tell the principle and the hidden concept behind this activity. So the principle and hidden concept behind this activity is osmosis. So what is osmosis? Osmosis is the phenomena in which solvent molecules pass through a semi-permeable membrane from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration and hypotonic solution. Thank you. So here we proceed with the activity. So the materials required in the activity is 2 potato tubers, sugar solution, some pins, pillar knife and knife, 2 bowls and water. So the first step is take 2 potato tubers. Now you have to make their bases flat. Now you have to make the hollow cavity in between it. Now in one potato you have to put the sugar solution. Now in the second potato you have to put the water solution. Now put this into a bowl. Now put this into another bowl and mark its initial level of sugar solution. Two to 3 hours you will watch the result.
Our next step is observation. So let us see what are the changes in our potato. After a certain period of time, we observe that the level of sugar solution in the potato cavity rises after some time due to the entry of water into the sugar solution, the selectively permeable membrane of the cell of the potato.
Hello everyone, this is Rashmi. As my friends have already told you about the activity, now it's my turn to tell you about the osmosis everyday uses. So here are some examples of everyday uses of osmosis. So first, we always see that when we put resin in water, the resin gets puffed. This is because of osmosis. Second, we see that plants take water and minerals from the roots. This is because of the osmosis.
Hello friends, let's start with an introduction. I am Aryan Jakhar, a BSVN, and today I am going to show you an interesting activity named electrolysis. So let's start. Materials required are graphite rods taken out of pencil, a glass, some common salt, some water, a cardboard piece and a battery with connector. Let us start with our procedure now. First of all, we have to take out our graphite rods from our pencil. The graphite rods are out. Now put some water into the glass and mix some common salt into it. Then take the cardboard piece and insert the graphite rods into it. Finally, connect the battery to the graphite rods and we can see electrolysis happening. The principle behind this is Faraday's laws of electrolysis. When positively charged ions moves toward cathode and negatively charged ions moves toward cathode, we see electrolysis happening. We can see electrolysis happening there.
Greetings to all, I am Shamli Mishra from 10th. Now daily use things like charcoal powder has such tremendous power which is unknown to many. It is unthinkable, generally we ignore it. So let us try an activity. For this activity we need charcoal powder and a tarnished copper vessel. We can easily make charcoal powder at home. By burning the wood and then grind it into the mixer and then make a fine powder like this. Tarnishing in copper is due to chemical reaction between molecule on copper and surrounding air. The chemical reaction changes the color of copper. First we have to make a paste by adding few drops of water into the charcoal powder, and if the quality of charcoal powder is not good, then you can add few drops of vinegar to it. This is the paste. Take the paste on any cloth or cotton and rub it on the copper vessel. By rubbing few minutes, you will notice the change. Now after rubbing few minutes, you can see the change in the color of the copper vessel. After rubbing, clean it with the cloth. After cleaning, you can see the luster on the copper vessel.
Morning everyone, I am Piyush Kumar, student 10th Vidya Shishu Nihar, and today I am going to show you how you can utilize even a small daily uses product such as a toothpaste in many other ways. And in this video I am going to show you how you can utilize your toothpaste as a desk cleaner or the cleaning agent. So let's start here. So here I am going to use my table as a solid surface. Step 1. Use your wax crayons to color the table. So I am coloring it, and I thought the black will be more preferable than any other color for this experiment. So let's move on to the another step. Step 2. Have a pea-size toothpaste on the white. So I am having it. And clean the surface using it. So I am cleaning the surface using it, and as you can see the stains are going. I thought I am going to need one more wipe. So let's have another wipe. As you can see, after wiping, that there are no stains left on the table. This phenomenon occurs because toothpaste contain abrasives, which are good cleaner for the inorganic substances. It also contains benzyl alcohol, which is good or the excellent solvent for the organic ones. The combination of them can clean all the surfaces used in our day-to-day life. Thank you.
Hello everyone, I am Nikita Gaur and I am Niharika Gaur, and we are here to perform an activity on transpiration pull theory. The principle of this activity is that there are small holes on the leaves of plant known as stomata, and these holes lose water through transpiration. So we require 2 polythenes long enough to cover these pots and 2 pots, one containing plant and one without a plant. So what we are going to do is we are going to cover these pots with these polythenes. So, as you can see, we have covered these pots with these polythenes. Now, we are going to keep them overnight and we'll see what happens. So, after keeping them overnight, let's see what happens. Oh my god, there are water droplets on the polythene. See? Hey Niharika, are there water droplets on your polythene also? Let me check, Nikita. No, they're not. Not even a single one. So, can you tell me why is it so? Yes, of course I can. That's because of transpiration. Transpiration is a process of water movement through a plant and evaporation through its aerial parts such as leaves, stems and flowers. As you all know, water is very necessary for plants, but only small amount of water is absorbed by the roots for growth and metabolism, and the rest 97 to 99.5% of water is absorbed by transpiration and mutation. So, can you tell me what are the daily uses of transpiration? Yes, transpiration is very important. It helps plant to it prevents plants from overheating and helps plant to cool down, and it also transports minerals and water through the plant. So transpiration is very important.
I am Serena of class 9 and I am going to perform the bell jar experiment. The principle of the experiment is to demonstrate that sound needs a medium to propagate. Material requires a jar, buzzer, connecting wires, battery and a vacuum pump. The experiment is done by placing a buzzer in the jar. When the vacuum is created, no more sound can be heard. Let's do it practically. Can you hear the sound? At a particular vacuum, no more sound can be heard. The learning outcome is that when the vacuum is created in the jar, no more sound can be heard. Its practical application is used in school, temples and museums.
From class 10th B. Today through our model we are going to show you how our lungs work. And our model is based on air pressure, which shows that air pressure is inversely proportional to the volume of the body and vice versa. So here I have the model. You can see there's a bottle. This bottle is the thoracic cavity of any living organism who has lungs. Now you can see that there are two small balloons, one yellow and one pink. These two balloons are our lungs. And this yellow and purple pipe is the windpipe or trachea, which divides into two bronchi and which connects the lungs to the nostril or nasal cavity. Then down we have a green balloon, which is the diaphragm of our body. So now I am going to explain you the working of this model. When you pull this diaphragm or the green balloon down, you will see a thing. Let's see. You can see that the lungs or the pink and yellow balloon are getting inflated. This is because when the volume inside any body increases, then the pressure inside it decreases. So the pressure on the balloons has decreased, and then the balloons get inflated. At this time we are inhaling. Now you will see when we push this diaphragm inside, the balloons get squeezed. Now the law says that when the volume inside any body decreases, then the pressure inside it increases. This causes the balloons to shrink. At this time we are exhaling. So this is basically the way how our lungs work and which helps us in breathing. Thank you.
I am Siddharth. So before we start, we should be aware what is meant by chromatography. Chromatography is an important tool in chemical analysis. It is used to separate small amount of dissolved substances.
On chromatography. In chromatography, the dye which is more soluble in water dissolves first, rises faster and produces a colored spot on the paper at a higher position. Similarly, the soluble dyes rise slower. We will show the procedure of this activity later in this video.
Okay, I will be showing you the procedure of chromatography. In chromatography, you will need a tissue paper, few sketch pens or any kind of ink, and a tumbler filled with water. First, cut a thin strip of tissue paper in this way and then color it with any kind of ink. I am using a sketch pen. It will look like this, nearly a black color. Now we have to dip it in water by suspending it upon a rod. In this way.
Dheeraj of class 10C, student of Birla Shishu Vihar. Me and my group members have prepared a project on the working and principle of the transformer. We have prepared a multi-purpose project. It is lightweight, small in size, consists of a motor or a fan, amplifier, 2 speakers, 3 LEDs which consumes less battery, LED which runs on the 9 watt, 5.7 watt DC module charger. Now I will show that it is working. I have plugged it in and now I will play a song in it. As you have seen, it is working. Now I will show you that how it's work. We have taken the transformer 240 which take the input of 240 watt AC and give the output of 12 watt DC, 12 watt AC. Step downs the current and application of the transformer in our daily life. The transformer works on the principle of the magnetic induction. It consists of the insulated copper wire that are useful in order to step up or step down the alternating current entering into it. It is used on a multi-purpose project such as the pillars. Pillars consist of large transformer which step up the voltage of the current which it is receiving from the power plant and supplying it to our home with 240 watt. Thank you.
I am Sujas Bharadwaj from class 9th. Today I am going to explain you about potential energy curve and equilibrium states. This is a potential energy curve. We know that potential energy is due to the position of a particle. It is increasing along the potential energy or PE axis. Now let us understand the concept of equilibrium state. Equilibrium state, it is the state where a particle can remain for infinite time at these states. At these states, the slope of PE curve is 0. There are 3 types of equilibrium states: neutral equilibrium state A, unstable equilibrium state B, and stable equilibrium state C. Neutral equilibrium state A. At this, the potential energy is approximately equal to its nearby points. If a particle is deviated from an equilibrium state, then it will acquire a new equilibrium state. Unstable equilibrium state B. At this, energy is maximum than its nearby points. If particle is deviated, it never regains this state. Stable equilibrium state C. At this state, energy is minimum than its nearby points. If a particle is deviated from stable equilibrium state, it regains it. Particle oscillates about the stable equilibrium state. Particle regains the equilibrium state. Here we see that the motion of particle is bound motion and it forms a potential well. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Jaishan and I am the student of class 10th. Today I am going to perform an activity on the topic refraction of light. So what is refraction of light? Basically it is a phenomenon of light. When it travels from one medium to another, it deviates its path. Okay, it deviates. It's because the activity for this we need a glass of water, pencil or a pen and a laser light. Okay, so when I put a pencil in the water, okay, it seems to be bent. Why it is so? Because the refraction. As I have discussed, when light travels from one medium to another, it deviates its path. So this is a case of rarer medium to denser, as the light is traveling from air to the water. Okay. For the laser experiment, I will close the light. Now observe the deviation. When I pass a light from air to the water, it seems a huge deviation, as the light is traveling from rarer medium to denser. Okay, it bent towards the normal. So this is a case of when light travels from rarer medium to denser. If the light travels from denser to rarer, suppose the light is traveling from water to air, of course it will bend away from the normal. So what is the use of refraction? What is the use of refraction in our daily life? In cameras, telescope, binoculars, all these having a lens, and lens use the property of refraction. Okay, thanks.
Hello everyone, I am Gaurav of class 10th A.
And I am Lavish from the same class.
Lavish, can you help me in repairing the broken leg of my table because I am not having any glue which can paste it?
Yeah, sure, I can do it. Let's go to our work table and I will tell you how to make adhesive at home if you do not have glue at your home.
Okay, then let's go.
Principle: petrol is a mixture of hydrocarbons. Usually the molecule have 8 carbons. So we can just say its formula is C8H18. So when petrol and thermocol mix, no reaction happens, but the thermocol will dissolve in the petrol.
Material required: old pieces of thermocol, small amount of petrol and a spoon. Procedure: take small amount of petrol in a clean and dry glass. Now take the old thermocol which has been cut into small pieces and add slowly to petrol in the glass. After a while, no more thermocol dissolve in the petrol or solvent. Stop adding thermocol and stir the solution with the spoon.
Observation: the glass containing petrol now has thick and coagulated mass in it. This is the resultant adhesive. Conclusion: it is observed that petrol is able to form good quality of adhesive by mixing it with thermocol. Thus, it is concluded that conversion of waste thermocol to adhesive is an economical, eco-friendly and efficient technique.
So here comes a halt to the marvelous journey of exploration and observation of scientific facts that were manifested in the video. I hope you enjoyed the virtual tour with our young scientists. On behalf of Principal Sir and Birla Shishuvihar fraternity, I thank you all for watching us.